This is...
Museum, Mancunia, Manchester, MCR. I wanna make enough money to buy expensive clothes that look like homeless clothes. I want vintage like Northern Quarter. I want 2 wives like Canal Street. Canal Street, gay village, the LGBTQ Eldorado of the North, whatever you want to call it. It's been transformed from a 1980s seedy-back alley horn for closet homosexuals to the most vibrant, unashamedly outrageous street this side of Paris.
Canal Street is so important, not only to the gay community, the LGBT community, the queer community, whatever you want to call it, but to the city. This stretch of street brings in so much money into the city, mostly because of Pride, because Pride just ups the revenue for the whole city.
The opening of Mantos in 1990 was a match that lit the fuse to what we now see. It said no to blacked-out windows, yes to transparent transparency.
You've got bars like Centre Stage, Bar Pop, On Bar, they're all mint, like Oscar's Bar as well. It's something, they offer something different to what other people would offer.
Businesses in Canal Street are dwindling because, perhaps, the more accepted Manchester becomes of the gay community, the less the gay community feels the need to limit themselves to Canal Street.
Canal Street feels like it's on the decline. There are bars and spaces which are shut down. There's pocket of litter, there's quite a few people, homeless people, sleepers, and all that kind of leads me to believe that something needs to change on this street.
Right, so if Canal Street closed down tomorrow, I'll probably go to the Northern Quarter. Have a laugh there. Everywhere's different bars. Have a laugh everywhere, so.
Named after the River Tib. In its early days, Tib Street was famous for its pet shops, sex shops and the Smithfield Market. Whereas today...
Currently, Tib Street, it's probably a bit of a mix of things opening and closing, but I'd say, so I've been here 14 years and in that time seen a lot of things open. Have seen some things close, but I'd say for the most part things don't stay closed for long. So if the business for whatever reason doesn't do well, it's not long before somebody new starts something up.
The sex shops are still here, but Tib Street is in a strange state. It's no longer the bourgeois area of Manchester. Ancoats has taken that title.
Well, I've noticed that Tib Street is not really buzzing anymore because some of the shops are closed and it's daytime, so they should be open, I guess. And yeah, some of them look a bit shabby. It's like people don't invest in them anymore, so yeah, I could tell.
The biggest challenge to stay on Tib Street would be that the rates are very high. It's got a bad reputation due to the people using drugs, spice. You get a lot of graffiti going up and down, so the street is a bit messy. And especially towards coming up to Swan Street, and the street kind of just declines. And it's trying to drive traffic up, down the street becomes difficult.
But it's not the Mancunian way to rest on your laurels, not when they're... I want to know why I wasn't invited to this meeting where everybody decided Oasis should be the soundtrack to Manchester. No. Middle-aged men singing badly should be safe for football stadiums and football stadiums only.
Without sacrificing their own strong cultural identity, the Chinese have fitted in remarkably well. Every mother wants her child to speak the mother tongue, and for the Chinese, their traditions of hard work, self-reliance, respect for family are all bound up with language.
The first Chinese immigrants arrived in Manchester in the early 20th century. At first, their business ambitions only stretched to laundry, but as the 70s progressed, restaurant after restaurant began to pop up on Portland Street, Nicholas Street, and George Street.
My opinion is it's the epicenter of Manchester, the heart of Manchester, from my perspective. So like for me, it's the high energy vibe. George Street, it's 24-hour. Do you know, like certain parts of Manchester shut off at 2 o'clock. George Street, still heavy going at 2 o'clock, really just warming up.
Listen, the George Street of today faces the same problem every street in Manchester faces. Rough sleepers.
The homeless situation in Chinatown right now, it's attracting a lot of homeless people. We have an arch over there that literally has been blocked off. You used to get a lot of homeless just sleeping under it.
The future for George Street is looking pretty precarious. While areas such as Ancoats are in the midst of redevelopment, Chinatown and George Street, they're suffering.
There could be things done to develop George Street. I mean, they've already got the best supermarkets in town are actually here. However, I would say that some of the second tier shops don't really do justice, and there could be also more of a contemporary kind of Great British feel to it.
I reckon Chinatown will benefit from some redevelopment, especially with the current state that it's in right now. I think, you know, eventually if there isn't any help from just the council itself, not talking about anyone else, we are trying to help ourselves, but restaurants will be closing. The ones that you have left is more of a handful at the moment. You know, eventually, if things are just going to be carried on the way they are, you know, a lot of closures will happen.
A word that best describes Manchester in 2018. I'd probably say change. Change seems unrelenting in its attempts to gentrify every blade of grass in Manchester, yet what about the monuments to Manchester's past? Canal, Tib and George Street. What changes await them?